Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently up 0.43% to 42,378. Ethereum down 1.55% to 3159. From my 30 plus years of financial market experience, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. If you're going through a life pullback, please know that our community's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. There's always hope, and the sun will come out again. And I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart for your very beautiful and kind words to my mum. We have one of the most incredible communities on YouTube and across Twitter and across all the different social media channels. It's just an honor to know you. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. When people are new into any particular space, it doesn't matter what the market, they tend to focus on just single coins, tokens, alts that they hold. This is a really big mistake. If you don't understand how the market is moving, you will get crushed. When we turn to KS zone analysis, which are the 4 stages that every single investor and trader progresses through to become consistently profitable and attain real wealth, there are 4 quadrants. The concept is zone 1 and zone 2 are the loss quadrants. Zone 3 is how to make money quadrant, and zone 4 is how to keep the money quadrant. There are different rules that apply in all of these 4 zones. It's really important to understand when people enter the market, they're just almost myopically focused on what they've purchased, and they don't tend to care too much about anything else. If they don't have Bitcoin, they say, who cares about Bitcoin? My little beloved alt will do so well no matter what. It'll take over Bitcoin. As the Masterclass students know, that's not exactly the case. Alts that will take over Bitcoin will need a lot of time to get there. But the critical thing is, in zone 1 and zone 2, people want certainty. They want to know when to flick the light switch on and off. There is no such thing. It's really important to move away from the light switch effect. That is, that people go all in or all out. All in when things are green, all out when things go red. And of course, that creates a lot of panic and blame. Zones 1 and 2 suffer what I call the certainty trap. It's a trap where people think that there's certainty, and scammers and all sorts of bad people in markets, not just in crypto, but across the world, they prey on that. If somebody says that you can have guaranteed returns of whatever X, run. It's not true. It's just not true. Nobody can guarantee anything, and if they're giving you certainty, that certainty is they will take your money. Just be really careful. Professional traders and investors know that they can't have perfect timing. They can't capture everything. They're not addicted to indicators. They just use them to layer probabilities. And zone 3 is all about the rules of making money. Zone 4 is all about the rules of keeping money. You can see losing money, making money, keeping money. All the rules are different in every single zone. In zones 1 and 2, people tend to buy green and to sell red. It's interesting that ADA was really bright green yesterday, and I just mentioned, please be a little bit careful of these spikes. They can reverse, and that's exactly what's happened. In zones 1 and zones 2, we find that when there is extreme fear, people get out of the market. This is exactly the time when smart money, institutional investors get into the market. They want to buy everything at a discount. When you see professional traders and investors, they buy extreme fear and they sell extreme greed. 6 weeks ago, I mentioned that Bitcoin's price could come down to here. This is just a screenshot from episode 358 on December the 5th. This has happened to Bitcoin so many times, it's really important to go with the probabilities. So why do we look at Bitcoin and the entire market? Why don't we just focus in on one or two coins or one or two tokens? The first thing to bear in mind is that there are 16,944 cryptos, and that number is exploding every single day. Rule 45 is no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity, but what does this really mean? It means as Bitcoin moves, so does the entire market. We can see the market came up to around here on the 13th of January, and then it's been coming down. It's finding support currently for Bitcoin at around the 41,933 mark. The current price of Bitcoin is 42,431. But I said the entire market moves with Bitcoin's gravity. Can I prove that? Yeah, I can. What we're looking at here is total crypto market cap. This particular line, let me just turn off this. This is the total crypto market cap. This is all those particular tokens and coins all added up together. We can see the around approximate value is $2 trillion. Now, when we overlay Bitcoin's price, what do we see? Look at this confluence. It basically carries it to a ping. And this is the way that things move inside the crypto market. When people just want an analysis of one coin, they're going to get smashed sooner or later, because that coin is always dependent on Bitcoin's gravity. This is a really hard lesson to learn, and it's a lesson that's learned in Zone 3, but it's a lesson that is ignored in Zone 1 and Zone 2. From the probabilities of about 6 weeks ago, it is probable that Bitcoin could come down to 37,406, but it's just as probable that it could actually breach this particular resistance line, liquidate a lot of shorts at 44,729, and quickly increase in price. We've seen this happen a lot. And what we need to look at is newbie news sentiment. I know quite a few people have been calling for this to come back. I always listen to everyone. I read every comment every day. Okay, let's have a look at this. Bitcoin and Ether resume slide. Why ADA could rally again? Okay, it could, definitely, but it's not doing that at the moment. Bitcoin millionaires are flocking to this North American tax haven. What do locals think? Oh, they love it. Analysts warned that Bitcoin could dip to 38K before an eventual breakout. Wow, what we've said for 6 weeks is coming out. Bitcoin could plunge below 30,000. Oh, this is great. This is what we need to see. Similarities to the Wall Street crash of 1929. Oh, brother, give me a break. But this is what happens when retail sentiment is on a specific focus. For example, price has been coming down for like 65 days right now. Of course, people think that it's just going to continue. They don't understand institutions play a game with retail investors, and they do it all the time. And that's why I share their mindset, to protect you. Bitcoin dominance declines as alts take over. Not so. When Bitcoin comes down, the alts come down harder. It's a thing to understand that Bitcoin dominance will continue to fall. It was at one stage a measure, but I don't pay too much attention to dominance because we need to pay attention to gravity instead. Intel is apparently making Bitcoin mining chips to save GPUs for gamers. Oh, that's very nice of them. What's Roxy up to? Well, she's living in a different state. Okay, analysts warn that Bitcoin could dip to 38K before an eventual breakout. This is setting retail expectations for a fall. What does that mean? People say, okay, Bitcoin is currently at 42,400. So if I sell now, sell to who? Who's buying? Michael Saylor is buying. Don't give your Bitcoin and crypto to Michael Saylor. He takes any crypto. Okay, Bitcoin integrated altcoin spikes after earnings surprise. Whoa, that's very nice. A fintech behind the first crypto mortgage, it's starting to get really interesting, sees multi-billion-dollar market in allowing borrowers to pledge their Bitcoin, to gain access to the real estate market. We're going to see so many changes when crypto hits mainstream, and we understand that crypto is simply the next generation of the internet. As a community, we've been through this before. When we think of this incredible sell-off that happened just before August, what we saw was people saying $10,000 Bitcoin going to zero. We saw all sorts of things, and I called in months earlier that 30,000 was pretty much the low, and I missed it admittedly about $500 to $1,000 depending on what exchange, but I called it back here. The concept is, I feel that the exact same pattern is just playing out again, and people are getting really, really bearish. Some people asked, who's this little guy in the bottom right? That's our friend Robert Kiyosaki. He's up to some mischief. Something is going wrong. We must always think in 3 dimensions, make in advance probabilistic choices. What happens if price just falls? What happens if it rallies? What happens if it stagnates and goes sideways? These are, if you like, answers that all professional traders and investors have before they ever put a buy or ever put a sell. All professional traders and investors with the smart money mindset have a 10-5-10 volatility fund. For example, if you're holding a crypto and it's gone down 50% and then it just regains its original price, it comes from that 50% loss back up and you're now even. How much did it increase by? Was it 50% or was it 100%? You might think about it this way. If you have a $10 crypto and it falls to $5, that's a 50% decrease. But from $5 up to $10 is a 100% increase. This is what smart money is all about. They love buying the falling knives because they know how profitable they are. And they also say to keep away from falling knives. It's almost folklore. Why? Because they're buying it. So the truth is, we could get a technical violation what is a technical violation? It's just a price movement that invalidates particular support or resistance lines, and it's designed by smart money and institutional investors to basically shake retail investors and traders out of their positions. I'd like to thank Ted Boyston for putting this model together for the community. Ted is a really great guy and very, very clever. What Ted has done here is to show the KS model with the exponential blow off top predicted the 25th of May 2022, and he's showing variability around that price. We can see the current price has been coming down and we're still within the variability range. One thing to be aware, when it comes to crypto, it's an exponential asset. It can do things that literally defy description, and I believe it will do things like that again. I'm still holding strong to the 25th of May 2022, but if that changes, I'll certainly let you know. I'd like to thank the many people that reached out and expressed their interest in the CTKS Ambassador designation. That's the highest honor in crypto technical analysis. If you would like to go across to www.cryptotechnicalanalysis.org and just go to the ambassadors section, there's a Google form where you can express your interest in becoming a CTKS Ambassador. I know many people have been reaching out to me to say, can we get into the masterclass at a discounted level? Absolutely. The ambassadors will have special coupon codes that will give you a very large discount off the masterclass and put it within reach for people who are serious about their learning. One thing that you might like to do, you can always go across to the testimonials and see what other people are talking about. Those ambassadors have those codes, and I'll be announcing the ambassadors soon. It's very good to understand Rule 781. Crypto technical analysis is a skill, but it's also a philosophy focused on real wealth. It's about how to make money and how to keep money and be happy along the journey. Masterclass students, when you get to TM6, you'll get my live chart here. The masterclass is about teaching my 3 decades plus experience in financial markets to you in a really practical and easy to understand manner. It's about you doing what I do. What I'm literally doing is transferring my knowledge and skill. What we see here inside the VIX, we're getting an increase in fear inside the market. We can see the NASDAQ 100 has been selling off. It came back, hit support, and has been selling down. We'll probably hit a level around here, about the 14,907 mark. Now, does this mean that it's all over, that we're in for a crash? We can see fear going up. We can see the market coming down. What do we say? We need to look at more context. What we actually see here is oil prices going up. The last time we had a crash, oil fell off a cliff, literally. The last time we had a crash, bond prices went up the wall exponentially and bond yields fell off a cliff just like oil. And we saw some really interesting behavior in gold and also the US dollar. We're not seeing those behaviors right now. Does this mean we're not going to have a crash? The important thing to understand, when you're in zone 3, you actually look forward to crashes. In zone 1 and zone 2, crashes terrify people. In zone 3 and zone 4, we have no problem with crashes. They're actually the greatest money-making opportunity of all time. They're not something to be feared. They're something to look forward to. That's the smart money mindset, completely different from the retail mindset. But from the probabilities, we're not detecting an imminent incoming crash. Just keeping up with the fundamental data, there's been 334.7 million C19 cases, and we've had a big spike up, but they're coming down a little bit, which is really fantastic. Not so much of an increase in the death rate, although people are still dying. We must be aware of that. When we look at the cases yesterday, we had 2.22 million new cases. The reason that we look at the cases is that we need to understand if increased stringency or lockdowns is going to come in. And we can see, as across the world, Sweden has had a really big jump in stringency. Russia's pretty flatline. UK just coming up a little, Belgium coming up a little, Cyprus pretty much flatline, Australia decreasing, Switzerland in consolidation you could say, Spain just flatline, and Palestine, wow, that is a really big decrease in stringency. So we can see the top stringency is Germany, Greece, Italy, Canada, and France. This naturally leads into transport indexes being suppressed if increased stringency is occurring. Masterclass students, you will get this in TM3. We can see the NASDAQ has come down. The transportation indexes are also coming down at the moment, but it's really interesting to see that the airline index is bucking the trend. It's actually improving. Just keep in note or keep in mind that the airline index is still under a degree of resistance. It hasn't passed through resistance yet, but it's actually improving in terms of its support. Looking at inflation expectations, the reason that we do these charts is because in the news, people are always talking about inflation and transportation and gold and the US dollar and fear in the market, etc. What we do is say, okay, they can talk about whatever they want because they're usually paid off by large interests to create a narrative and a story to actually pry what holdings retail investors have out of their hands. So we look at the actual data and we say, okay, inflation expectations, they're coming down, no doubt. NASDAQ is coming down. Bitcoin is starting to find a level of consolidation support through here, but we actually know what's going on. Many of the news stories point to inflation running rampant. We can see the inflation rate, break-even inflation rate, is actually coming down. Masterclass students, when you get to TM4, you'll have a copy of my live chart. Evergrande and the Chinese property market segment continues to be in the news, but let's see behind the news as to what is happening. Masterclass students, when you reach TM5, you'll get a copy of this chart as well. Let's have a look through the Chinese property market, which has has over $1 trillion worth of net debt. A lot of people talk about Evergrande and the amount of debt in Evergrande, but actually when you look at these top 7, Evergrande's just a baby. What do we see in the actual prices? We can see that Country Garden, who has exposure to a different geographical region, projects in a different geographical region, thank you Richard, is going down in terms of share price. So that is if you like, the CCP looks at it and says, well, that's not in our country, so that can fail, that's okay. But anything inside China, of course the CCP needs to look after it. Foreign bondholders of US denominated debt, they're on their own. And the CCP will safeguard the Chinese economic system. So we can see a bit of a divergence here, and it's mainly to do with the projects that different companies have. Thanks again to Richard for sending me that. We have such an amazing community. People are always sending me just such fascinating things. I want to thank everybody for doing that. It's just beautiful. So what does all of this tell us about the market? You see how broadly we need to look to even understand, comprehend how Bitcoin is going. And if we do that, we can understand how the alts may move with Bitcoin. We're seeing here compressed price action. Bitcoin is coming back to that particular support line. That's really good stuff. Will it hold it? This is the question. We could get a technical violation down, and our community is really prepared for things like that to happen. We actually look forward to it. But what we can actually summarize is that the Chinese property market is improving, and we know that the stock market is going through a little bit of turbulence at the moment, but it's not melting down. And a lot of the headlines in the newbie news sentiment area are just nothing more than actual price action, just wobbling around, just like what Bitcoin does. So nothing has really changed. But if you don't go through the journey each day and look at all the signs, you can't track it properly. Rule 28, opportunities reset daily. This is a beautiful rule in life and in trading. Opportunities abound everywhere. You've just got to track them down. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. We can see that it's just consolidating through this range. Nothing much to see here. Basically, it's seeking to get above resistance, and we know it's not far away from it. What is happening to Ethereum? Just mirroring Bitcoin's gravity. We can see the gravity in the blue line there. What do we see with Binance Coin? It's bounced off a really strong support, and it's making a higher low. Very good. Solana is under a bit of pressure. We can see Cardano. It surged up yesterday. I believe it was above the line when we looked at it. And the concept was just buy at levels of support down, because we tend to get these spikes up. And of course, price variability is always negatively biased. So we want to take advantage of that. XRP is just doing exactly what Ethereum, what Bitcoin, and what Sol are doing. It's doing the higher low. When we have a look at DOT, we can see the higher low and the consolidation range in here. Luna continues to do well, but of course it's always an up and down scenario. When we look at Dogecoin, we can see Doge's nature is pretty spiky. It can get a lot of fuel and go up really quickly, but it tends to collapse down. This will reverse when it finds a level of support. But at the moment, this kind of price action is really normal for crypto, and it's important to be aware of that. So many people get caught into these long spikes and they get trapped at these higher prices. Not our community. We buy really effectively. Your profit is related to where you buy. AVAX, we can see AVAX is doing what ETH and Bitcoin and so many others are doing, just higher lows. Same with SHIB. Matic is looking really good. It has a very strong support coming up here. It's just suffering the same kind of downturn as Luna is suffering right now. Litecoin is coming up to a level of very strong resistance. Just be aware of that. Uni is under resistance. It could flick back and try to test this resistance line. Algo is under resistance at the moment. It has resistance around the 169 and the 191 level. We can see Chainlink forming a really nice pattern of higher lows here. That doesn't look too bad from a technical perspective. One key thing to always keep in mind, price is always moving in a wave. So what you see is price will wave up and wave down. It likes to wave. When we look at Bitcoin Cash, we can see that it's made a bit of a attempt to come up, but it's just being pushed down, just like the entire crypto market. And why is that? Because of Bitcoin. When we look at Tron has made a fairly good surge up, just doing a retracement at the moment. Decentraland is finding an area of consolidation. Axie Infinity creating a higher low. Oh, what's Rose up to? Let's have a look. Rose is just a bit of a thought experiment and very much about the concept. How do we look into the market and see what particular price patterns are doing? I drew this in quite a few days ago with the concept that price was coming up, and it was coming up really strongly, and it looked like it could do very, very well. And I just said to people, please be aware that buying at levels of support below will actually make you the profits. What we can see is some of those supports were actually hit at the 51,950 mark, 49,665, and the 46,548. Just imagine if people had bought around that 56 level or higher, even the 60 level, they'd be sitting on losses right now. When you actually layer in, this is called leaning in, this is scaling. When you scale in, it's a wonderful way to do it because you actually lower your risk, and that's really, really important with crypto. Crypto is so incredibly volatile. You want to use that volatility as your best friend. You might notice that I haven't drawn this red box too far below this support line. It is possible the price could come down further, even come down in here with one of those long tail rejections. They can be fantastic to buy, but the concept is the structure from a technical perspective looks really good. I'm not involved with Rose at all. I don't have anything in Rose. I'm just doing this because certain community members have reached out and said it would be helpful for them to see. We can see VET is just finding a level of consolidation support. Atom is looking really interesting. It's trying to overcome a level of resistance. If it gets above that, I think it could do really, really well. But we always assume a negative bias. Even if patterns look good, they can reverse through technical violations. That's really important to understand. FTT is also looking really good. It rallied very strongly. Looking at the next group, we can see EGLD just finding a level underneath its support. It's looking a little weak and it's under a lot of resistance, but that doesn't mean it's not a good project. What you can see with EGLD, it's reasonably following the directional bias of Bitcoin. When things turn around for Bitcoin, EGLD will do really, really well. ICP is still under resistance. We saw ICP coming up very, very strongly on good volume. But the thing is, when you have a lot of negative price momentum, it can be really difficult to break. Often things will consolidate instead of spike. Just a thing to be aware of. Sand, we can see Sand is showing a little bit of weakness here. Let's have a look at Filecoin. Filecoin is still under resistance. What I'm noticing inside the market at the moment, the underperformers are seeking to get attention. This could be just something that you keep your eye on as you go through. For example, Theta is actually doing quite well. It's had a bit of a pump up in price recently. It's consolidating around its current price level. CHR has found a level of resistance just coming back probably to that support around 75.97. Ethereum Classic is starting to move, but that movement up is to a level of resistance. We'll probably get a bit of a minor correction in price and form a higher low. When we look at near came up to that resistance, didn't quite make it, and was pushed back again. It will find support around the 16359 mark and the 14751, and we always want to be in the market where we're looking for long tail rejections, buying at support levels down, but please be careful of your fees. Turning to some community favorites, we can see VRA still under resistance, but getting close to turning that around. Let's keep our eye on that. And of course, we understand it's all about Bitcoin's gravity. When people move from level 1 to level 2 into level 3, the focus is really different. Level 3, the focus is on Bitcoin first and then the alt second. That is the way to go. We can see Icon just coming down, and it's showing a little bit of weakness at the moment, but it's just following Bitcoin's gravity, and that's really important to understand. Sushi is still below resistance, but it's starting to come up. We would expect a bit of a technical bounce around this level. Masterclass students use the EC method to identify that. When we look at IOTA is still stuck in a consolidation range. You can see that so many different cryptos behave differently. It's just so fun. When looking at LRC, Masterclass students, you may like to look at LV3 and LV4. We can see that Loopring has been coming down very, very hard in price. We would expect it to at least come up to this resistance line at some stage. It's been a very well-performing crypto. RSR is still under resistance, multiple levels. When we look at audio is just hovering around a support line, and CTSI unfortunately has pretty much erased its gains, but it's forming a higher low. I'd like to thank all the very kind and generous community members that have reached out and bought me a coffee on buymeacoffee.com/CryptoTradingKS. Thanks so much, everyone. I'd like to especially thank Mark and Sam, and someone that remained anonymous. Thanks, Ken. I can't wait for the next technical violation. Oh, we can't wait either. We love those. And to Cheryl, what a beautiful, beautiful thing to share. Thanks for this video about dedication. Every month I put a video together for the Coffee Club, just as my way of saying thank you for their kind generosity. Cheryl goes on to say, I always wanted to go back to school, but my husband was never keen on me going for a higher education. But when my husband died of brain cancer a few years ago, I was not knowing what direction to take my life. Glad I found the masterclass. I was thinking I was too old to learn, but I'm dedicated to do this for me and others around me. So thanks so much for the KS family also. I feel the love and support. Of course, the first thing, Cheryl, we're so sorry for your loss. And secondly, wow, what a great positive direction you're finding. That's so beautiful. Our community is incredibly supportive, and there are many people inside the masterclass that are of an advanced age, and they're doing really, really well. I couldn't be more proud. We just have an amazing community, and so supportive and so loving. It's probably nice to know that the idea of too old to learn is just an amazing concept. I've heard of people going to uni when they're 90. Wow, that's a fascinating thing. And we have many over 70 and over 80 people in the masterclass, and they're just rocking and rolling with it. It's so beautiful to see. Thank you, Cheryl, for sharing. And thank you, Bruno, always just so lovely. There are many comments underneath these particular things, and I don't read them out. I always guard people's privacy. But thank you, Bruno, for your very nice words. And thank you, everybody else who's written words in confidential. I really appreciate it. For the Coffee Club members, you can just go to the post tab and you'll see the videos in there. I'm always committed to keeping my word. I will do one video every month for the Coffee Club, just as my way of saying thank you for your generosity. If you are interested in the CTKS Ambassador designation, please reach out and view www.cryptotechnicalanalysis.org. and just go to the ambassadors page and you can just fill out that Google form. A link is also in the description of this video. When we look at CTA, we know crypto technical analysis is not just a skill, but it's a philosophy, especially the real wealth aspects of integrity, decency, and kindness. I want to thank our beautiful community members for reaching out and just sharing their love and kindness. What an incredible extended global family we have. It's just so beautiful to read all your comments. And I especially wanted to draw out Stefano's comment. Stefano said something really, really nice. Hi Ken, hi guys. I'm really impressed how much the family grew. I'm in since the very early stages. Finding Ken's channel was the best thing that happened to me in years. So happy to see people helping each other and sharing wisdom. That's really, really beautiful, Stefano. That's what we stand for as a community. I'm going through the masterclass slowly, even though I have a few years of experience in the market. The real wealth section is priceless, as all the other knowledge that Ken shares with us daily. I'm not much of a keyboard lion, but I wanted to share my appreciation because I believe being part of this family is changing people's lives. Best wishes to your mum, Ken. Thanks so much, Stefano. I agree, this is just the most incredible community. If you think about YouTube being so toxic, we don't have any toxicity within our community at all. And the same could be said with Twitter and so many other places. We just don't have toxicity. I think our community just attracts the right people, people who are open to all the good things in life, and of course want to be more of a financial blessing to themselves and others, but actually accrue meaning along that path. It's just so beautiful, and I want to thank everybody for your comments. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it will help others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers. If you'd like to talk about It's Never Too Late to Learn in the comments section on YouTube, I think that would be a fantastic thing to chat about. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the link to the masterclass. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.